Council for 19 years. Welcome, Mark. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the county and some of the work that you've been doing to make it greener and a more livable county.
Um, I got elected in, I guess, 2 years ago. And prior to that, I was on the county council. And on the county council, we passed climate goals from Montgomery County. We were going to reduce greenhouse gases by 80% by 2027 and 100% by 2035. And when we passed that legislation, we had no idea how we were going to get there. But we knew that if we passed more timid legislation, we might achieve the goals, but actually never get there. And that was a huge concern, that we would, set goals that were attainable too easily, and then we'd say job done. And the truth is, we're really not going to get job done until we get to zero. So when I came in, we spent the first year, we created a large citizens committee made up of, a huge number of county residents, hundreds literally of county residents. Fortunately, because of the Trump administration, we had people in the EPA who had nothing to do. And so they volunteered for our committees where they could actually do something. And they laid out a path forward and how we were going to move toward achieving these goals. And then we spent the COVID year working with the consulting group to kind of prioritize those goals. So, we know that about in Montgomery County, 50% of our greenhouse gases come out of buildings. About another 30% are coming out of automobiles, and the remainder is scattered across the landscape. And so we've taken our plan and sent it over to the council, but we've also introduced the first legislation. Some of it's modeled on things in New York, but we're proposing that new standards for existing buildings, we'll have to meet stricter emissions standards over the next 13 years. And for new buildings, new construction is going to have to be green, and we're phasing that in. But by 2027, certainly all new construction is supposed to be at zero. We've pushed really hard, and it's going in front of the county council. We are transforming our vehicle fleet. Our buses are going electric and hydrogen. Our police vehicles are going to wind up all being electric, it looks like, and we're moving the rest of our fleet in the same direction. So we're trying to make these decisions at the county level over the things we control. We're putting solar on our own buildings. We've just signed a contract to do cover another landfill with solar. So we continue to push on that. I'm trying to shut down the incinerator in Montgomery County, which is a polluting and evil mess. And the county executive, right before he left office, extended that contract for 5 years, which is unfortunate, but it's given us time to think a little bit better about how we're converting that. One of the exciting things coming out of this, we're looking at food composting, and to actually collect the food, compost it, and generate, and all at the end of the day, wind up with hydrogen that we can then use to fuel our hydrogen vehicles. They just went out and talked to one of the digesters today about how this might work, and I'm optimistic we're actually going to be able to do that kind of stuff. So the big thing is, is going to depend on what individuals do, but the only way we're going to move individuals is if we move the county itself. I can't tell people to go green if the county itself isn't green. I can't tell you to green your roofs if I don't green my roofs. So we're trying to become an example of the change that we want, Montgomery County to make. So that's a big thing for us. One of the other things we're trying to do is to find ways of tackling affordable housing differently, because we pretty much utterly fail at that. We produce very little truly affordable housing. The consultants and various other people like to ignore the fact that I have like 20,000 households at 30% of AMI. All of the plans that have been drawn up ignore these people who are at 30% of AMI. It's almost like they don't exist. We're projected to grow by 40,000 households. 3/4 of them would require subsidy of some sort. And we know that in our building environment, we're not going to be able to get units produced at the high levels of subsidy. So we're actually going out and talking to people who are building container housing that can be stacked and put into place as entire units. We're actually talking to people who are doing